Thank you. My partner Eindhoven has been leading this development of this methodology. Unfortunately, they cannot be here, so I will present the methodology on their behalf. My name is Smit, I'm from the Exchange. Why methodology? We do develop quite a lot of technology within this project, and it can be a little bit overwhelming for organizations to adopt these kind of water efficiency systems or efficiency measures. So we thought that we could lower the barrier to it for adopting such systems by creating some kind of manual or guidelines or methodology that helps them implementing and selecting such systems. That's the basis for it. One of the difficulties we had is balancing the broad audience that we are targeting within the project and keep it practical. So we have the households, we have the airport, we have the public buildings. And we wanted to serve them all with a single methodology. And the way we dealt with it is by connecting existing ways of working, existing best practices, existing standards as much as possible. So don't reinvent everything from scratch, just use what is available and fill the gaps with new tools, new insights, new standards. So one of the pillars of this whole methodology is that it's built on standards, existing standards, and a lot of them come from the energy domain, because the energy domain is a lot further developed as the water domain. What that brings is that especially companies recognize the terminology, and they recognize the process, and they can really map it into their existing improvement processes that they already adopt in their organization. There are some standards in the area of water management, but not as many and not as expensive, covering every aspect of water management as in energy. So there are some gaps there, but we have been able to map each phase of the methodology onto one or more sets of standards available. The whole methodology is built upon a cyclic process. I think we recognize the plan, do, check, act model. It's come from the ISO 5001, I believe. And we just added an initial phase, assess, because we think if you start adopting these kinds of measures, you need an assess phase first to align the whole improvement activity with corporate strategy, to keep upper management involved with the whole equation, to determine KPIs, and to select the proper domain you're targeting in the organization. It's cyclic, so it's not a one action, it's a continuous action. And because it's cyclic, you can also do it project-based. So each cycle can take a few weeks or a few months, depending on the scope of the activity. And you learn while you do. And I recognize from the presentation from Elizabeth that you can do one campaign to increase awareness of people about water consumption, but after the campaign has stopped and the interest is decreasing again, so you need to ramp up again and continuously keep people aware about what's going on. So looking a little bit further in these different phases, when you start, you look at this as an organization, it basically targets public organizations, commercial organizations, businesses, and not individual households, because that's too complex. But within these organizations, you start with an audit. Baseline, where are you with your organization? Is water really important for us, or should we focus on energy? How does it fit in corporate programs like sustainability programs? And can we free up resources and make people and money available for these kind of actions? If that's all being said and done, if you set the stage for the improvement actions, you can start going, you plan your action, you make detailed plans what you want to reach, you do baseline measurements because you want to know if I get a 50% of non-living water today. What's my goal? I want to go to 45%. So you need to measure today and you need to set your goals. Doing is just doing what you're planning to do. So you implement this monitoring systems, you implement metering systems, you train your staff, you communicate what you're doing, you involve end users with it. And then you can start the whole efficiency measure by checking, and it's just running for a couple of times, a couple of days, weeks, months, and measure the effect of your intervention. And check it against your KPIs. See, does this bring the expected results? And in the act phase, one sort of analysis, did it bring what we thought it would bring? What would be the next step, the next iteration of reinforce? The cycle starts again. I said we try to create a practical methodology, meaning that the methodology consists of the 5 phases, and for each phase we identify the activities that has to be done, and has to be conducted, the desired outcome, and the standards is related on. So if you're a company and you're keen on being compliant with a specific standard, you know that activities will lead you there. These activities are also a combination of existing methods and tools, and a few new ones that we developed within the project. For example, if you're in the assess phase and you have a business and you want to do a business risk assessment on how water is or what scarcity is affecting your business potentially. But if you want to develop the 5th business risk assessment tool, but we just point you towards 4 existing ones, in which you can make a selection and use the most appropriate one that you use. And that goes for every stage. It says what you should do in this phase, and it shows you some practical tools that you could use. And it's up to the organization to adopt the most appropriate set of tools. We recommend some tools, but we're not obliged to use them. One of the tools that we developed ourselves, basically to get a grip on the implementation of the whole Waternomics platform in 4 different pilots, is the use of Trello as a kind of project management tracking tool, how the implementation is progressing across the different phases. So I'm not sure, who is familiar with Trello? A few? Okay. Trello is, I think it's a great tool. It's simple, it's online, so in our situation where people are spread across Europe, different organizations, different countries, it's great to have online tooling available. And it's nothing more than you can create these cards, and each card contains an activity you can define, and you can assign people to these cards, and people can register to these cards. And instead of these long email threads about certain topics you have, at least I have in many projects, all the communication about a specific activity and deliverables are being kept in this card. So you may recognize already the phases that we have in the methodology. So what we did is we completed a kind of template for the whole methodology. And for each pilot, we kept on tracking how's it going with the assessment, with selecting the activities, with the metering plan, with the strategy, with the implementation. And in that way, especially for the pilot manager, I think this was useful to see, okay, in Greece they're going well, and in Italy they're lagging a little bit behind, but you can explain it because of. And it's a nice way to keep everybody aligned and involved in the implementation of the Waternomics platform.
So what's the 6th column here? Because for the base there's 5.
Yeah, that's true. I tried to read it, but I think we created one additional column for related tasks. They are not in the methodology. So, for example, dissemination is a part in here. Exploitation activities is here.
Associated work package tasks.
Yeah, associated work package tasks. That's a bit specific for our project. So, as I said, we applied this methodology within the project. Trello was basically used for managing the implementation of the Waternomics platform. From what I understood, the methodology itself helped by implementing the platform. It was a kind of common language to all the stakeholders involved in a single pilot. It helped, I think, especially NATO was keen on acquiring a certain, how do you call it, ISO compliance results.
I think certainly in implementing the plans for each of the pilot sites, that's when we took the methodology and we applied it to our pilot. We followed it with our pilot plans.
Yeah.
So in that way we followed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
also in the reporting structure,
Yeah.
reporting back to the commission and reporting within the project. We used the terminology used in the methodology. So when we would speak about, okay, pilot X is in the planning stage, and pilot Y is already in the do phase, then everybody would know what we're talking about and where we stand with this action. It says that it's not only a way to reach compliance US standards, but also to identify, I think, gaps where the current set of standards is not completely covering everything. And I think with the methodology we also were able to identify gaps in that. So impact of this action. Well, we did define a standard-based methodology to implement the water management system, which is something that from the energy domain is available, but not in the water domain. So that's a win for the water domain. But repeatability of results is indeed something that the methodology helps you with, and it's practical enough to be picked up by also smaller organizations who may lack the specific know-how and knowledge of water management systems. I mean, as an SME, you don't have all these professionals and experts in-house. You don't always hire external consultants to help you with implementing such systems, because then the business case doesn't come out. And by having a methodology, you can do it yourself. And it's customizable. We've seen it worked over here, it worked in Turkey, in a smaller municipality, and it worked at another airport, which is quite a complex implementation. So we feel very confident that it's also working for a large broad set of customers. So what are the insights? Absolutely, it's not my presentation. Yeah, well, it's basically what I just said. You can have a standard-based methodology which serves a broad range of customers and environments. And it contributes to implementing also more standard-based systems throughout Europe. So that's in short the methodology we developed in the project, and we also used within the project. Any questions?